We have a lot to talk about for this week in AmeriKKKa episode number 5. We are about 2 weeks into the Iran war, and I want to play some videos to y'all and have discussions about how the U.S. politicians feel about their constituents. I'm talking about Senator Lindsey Graham, people like Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump, and then we're also going to do an analysis of Iran's military strategy and capabilities versus the United States and Israel. Let's get to it.
God bless you. But look, I've been going all over South Carolina like most people. Hadn't slept much. But look what's going on in Israel. Our friends in Israel surrounded by people that want to kill them, destroy them, a second Holocaust in the making. And Biden says, be proportional. What is the proportional response to people who want to kill you and your family? Gosh. They're running out of ammunition in Israel. We have to help our friends to keep the war over there from coming here. We do in World War II. Did we think 1 minute about starving the Germans? Did we bomb every city into smithereens? So this is a war. No,
October 7th to World War II.
Yes, I am. This is an absolute existential threat to the Jewish people. What happened on October the 7th was 1,200 people were slaughtered, raped, and murdered and filmed by radical Islamists who would kill every Jew if they could, to the world. If you don't understand this is a threat to Israel's
survival. And then they flattened Gaza.
Just flatten it. We flattened Berlin. We flattened Tokyo. Were we wrong to drop an atomic bomb to end the Japanese reign of terror? Were we? So, my view, if I were Israel, I would have probably done it the same way. Without military victory, there is no hope of breaking radicalism. We flattened Germany. We flattened Japan.
How many Americans
believe this? Out of that,
how many Americans think the way that you do?
I think most Republicans think the way I do.
Even young ones.
Yeah, you're just out of touch if you don't understand Republicans.
Respectful dialogue. I will say this, I am saddened to say that some here, not everyone, but some here, are so consumed with hate that you cannot address your brother. I will say this.
You speak for yourself.
If you will not stand with Israel and the Jews,
No.
then I will not stand with you. Thank you, and God bless you.
Do y'all get it now? Senator Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, and a whole list of AIPAC-funded politicians don't give a damn about Americans. Their main focus is Israel. That clip of Lindsey Graham and talking about South Carolina when they were having that crazy flood, that crazy storm, Americans were dying and they needed help. What he cared most about was Israel. Israel needing weapons. Israel needs to defend itself. Israel. That's all he talks about. Ted Cruz, all the rest of them. Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump. That's all they care about. And it's time for Americans to wake up. We need politicians that focus on us, Americans, not on foreigners, not on foreign governments. And this is for both sides of the aisle. Biden was the same way. But this administration we got here is just the current one that we're talking about right now. And we have a war in Iran because of this. Now, check out this clip.
40 years ago, Iran realized something terrifying. It realized that it could never defeat America in a traditional war. So instead, it prepared for a totally different kind of war. To understand this strategy, we have to go back to the 1980s. At that time, Iran was fighting one of the longest and deadliest wars in modern Middle Eastern history, the Iran-Iraq War. For 8 brutal years, from 1980 to 1988, Iran and Iraq fought a conflict that killed hundreds of thousands of people and devastated both countries. During this war, Iran learned a painful lesson that modern warfare had changed. Countries Countries with advanced technology, powerful air forces, and strong allies had a massive advantage. Iran realized that if it ever faced a superpower like the United States, fighting a traditional war with tanks, jets, and large armies would be extremely difficult. So Iranian military planners began thinking differently. Instead of preparing to defeat stronger enemies in a direct battle, they started designing a strategy that could make any war extremely costly for the opponent. This is known as asymmetric warfare. In simple terms, asymmetric warfare means fighting a stronger enemy by avoiding its strengths and attacking its weaknesses. Rather than competing with American aircraft carriers and stealth bombers, Iran focused on cheaper, flexible weapons and tactics that are harder to stop. One major part of this strategy is its investment in missiles and drones. Instead of spending enormous amounts of money on modern fighter jets, Iran developed a large arsenal of ballistic missiles and long-range drones capable of striking targets across the region. And in recent years, these drones have become one of Iran's most important strategic tools. These low-cost attack drones can travel long distances and overwhelm air defense systems when launched in large numbers. Recently, Iran used waves of these drones to target military bases and infrastructure across several Gulf countries, including the UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia. The cost of engaging these drones far exceeded the cost of the drone itself. So this way, Iran is mathematically bleeding these rich Gulf countries. Now, another key pillar of this same strategy is Iran's network of allies across the Middle East. Over the past few decades, Iran has built relationships with armed groups in several countries, including Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, and Yemen. These groups act as Iran proxies and gives it influence far beyond its own borders. And as a result of this strategy, in this ongoing Iran-Israel war, the pressure is appearing in many places at once. Instead of one battlefield, there are several. Similarly, geography also plays a crucial role in Iran's strategy. Iran sits next to one of the most important waterways in the world, the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow passage connects the Persian Gulf to the global ocean, and around 20% the world's oil passes through it every day. Iran has recently blocked this strait, and energy markets are already beginning to witness the impact of blocking this choke point. Then Iran's naval strategy also reflects its asymmetric approach. Instead of building a navy similar to the United States, Iran relies on smaller, faster boats equipped with missiles and torpedoes. In large numbers, these boats can move quickly and create difficult situations for larger ships operating in the confined waters of the Persian Gulf. Finally, Iran's military structure is designed to keep functioning even under heavy pressure. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and its affiliated forces are organized in ways that allow different units to operate independently if needed. This decentralization means that even if some leaders or bases are targeted, the broader network can continue functioning. And this is exactly what is happening currently. The termination of Ayatollah Khamenei and other top leadership had little impact on Iran's retaliation activities. When all these elements come together, a clear strategy appears. Iran's goal is not to defeat the United States in a traditional military sense. Instead, its strategy focuses on making this war so complex, so costly, and so unpredictable that continuing the conflict becomes politically and economically difficult. In other words, Iran's strategy is not to defeat the United States. It is to make this war so expensive that the United States eventually loses it politically.
Now, let's go a little deeper. I want y'all to see this picture. Now, let's read the caption. If you ever feel useless, just remember the USA wiped out trillions of dollars of market cap, thousands of irreplaceable munitions, and hundreds of lives to replace Khamenei with Khamenei, right? Khamenei with Khamenei. This is the father, about 86, who the United States took out, the supreme leader. Now his son is the supreme leader, who's 56. They're calling this a victory right now. They are calling this a victory. This is what's going on in the United States. And that video I just played you talks about their strategy. 70 years of creating bases and making the Middle East a living nightmare. All so that way its infrastructure can be defeated within about 2 weeks. You have pushed a lion against the wall, and now that lion is fighting and scratching back. And they have been prepared. No ceasefire. They said they don't want a ceasefire. They said they're ready for the United States to invade with troops on the ground. That's not a good sign, y'all. We need politicians that care about the American people. We need to get AIPAC, the Israeli lobby, out of our country. So that's what's going on in This Week in AmeriKKKa, episode 5.